Hello and welcome back to another Doctor Who action figure review. Today I'm taking a look at another B&M exclusive, which is the first Doctor and TARDIS set from An Unearthly Child, featuring a new variant of the first Doctor and a brand new version of the first Doctor's TARDIS, which looks absolutely fantastic. But first, let's begin by taking a look at the packaging. So the set's packaged in the familiar window box with the current series style guide, with the new Doctor Who logo or the Gallifreyan text. We've got the gold limited edition foil sticker at the front. And then on the back of the box, we have a little synopsis about the story, An Unearthly Child, and we have some details about the TARDIS prop. And then as ever, we have a backdrop inside, which is of course Totter's Yard, which is where the TARDIS is first parked when we first meet the Doctor in Doctor Who. And it looks great with the TARDIS posed there and the first Doctor alongside it as well. So before we get on to the lovely new TARDIS, let's talk a little bit about the new First Doctor figure. This is a very episode-specific version of the First Doctor. He's got the longer hair, he's got the hat, he's got the scarf, and of course the closed jacket, which is how he wears it at the start of An Unearthly Child. Now this is a version of the figure that we have seen released before. However, it has been tweaked quite significantly because, as you'll notice, he no longer has his cloak. He's just wearing his scarf. So there's been some new tooling here where they've removed the cloak and recreated the scarf. Now, at first I was a bit like, I can't recall him ever wearing the scarf without the cloak in An Unearthly Child. Well, this version of the character is actually based on his appearance in the pilot version of An Unearthly Child, the unaired pilot that was originally shot. And it's also worth noting that the necktie isn't blue, it's black. And again, I think that's because in the pilot, he actually just wears a normal tie. He doesn't wear this French necktie that we now know him for wearing. And I think by keeping it black, that sort of harkens back to the costume as we see it in the pilot episode. So this is certainly an interesting variant to have. In terms of sculpting and paint applications, very well done. A great likeness for Hartnell. Love the way that, again, much like with the earlier Hartnell we had this year, that grey with the white over the top really accentuates the sculpt. The sculpting on the hat is superb, but, it looks texturally, looks brilliant. And the way that they've sculpted the coat all done up and stuff looks very good as well. Some people may be a little annoyed to see the return of the darker trousers. Again, I kind of see those as sort of almost like season 3 trousers, personally. It makes for an interesting yet subtly different version of the First Doctor than we've seen before. And if you're missing the fact that he's not wearing his cloak, fingers crossed, maybe they'll do a 10th Planet version some point in the future. I'm surprised that hasn't happened yet, to be honest. So who knows? Maybe one day we'll get a 10th Planet TARDIS with a 10th Planet First Doctor. Fingers crossed. And then in terms of articulation, the First Doctor, all of the standard stuff that you expect from the early classic figures. Articulation at the head, at the shoulders, going 360. Articulation at the bicep, again, 360. At the elbow, pivoting up and down. That's a little bit stiff, but he can do it. He has articulation at the wrists as well. And then, of course, as we move down, he's got it at the waist too. A bit hard to move because of the length of his coat, but he does have it. He also has articulation at the hips. Again, the coat is hindering this somewhat, but they can move forward and they can move out to the sides too. He has articulation at the thigh, so the legs can rotate 360 degrees all the way around, and also pivots at the knee, so the knees can bend. But of course, the main event is the brand new TARDIS, which looks amazing. This is a fantastic new TARDIS. I love it. And there's a major bit of new tooling here that I'm sure hasn't gone unnoticed, which is, of course, the roof and the lamp. As ever, it's the usual TARDIS sculpt that we've seen on all of the classic TARDISes, just with these tweaks added. And it makes for a really lovely recreation of the original TARDIS prop. There are additional new tooling differences. We've got brand new windows. So the windows have been recreated with the little window sills, which is really great. I love that. And of course, we've got new pebbled glass. The pebbled glass looks a lot better. It's far more accurate. Not to say that what we had before was bad, but this just looks more like the actual prop. And of course, the addition of the windowsills is great because it just adds that little bit of extra authenticity. We've got the brand new door sign with a text written on it with a dark wash over the top to make it look a bit tatty. In fact, the whole TARDIS has a lovely dirty wash over it because the whole point of this TARDIS was to make it look ropey and battered, and they've done a great job capturing that with this toy. It still has the gold lock and the silver handle. This prop didn't have a door handle and the lock was in a different position, but of course, with part reuse, you're always going to get some discrepancies, but the new tweaks really surpass that. Something that I really love that they've done here is the St. John's Ambulance sticker. Now, you may or may not realise this, but St. John Ambulance is taking away the licence from Doctor Who to use the St. John's Ambulance logo. If you see any merchandise now, especially from stuff like the Matt Smith era, they can't use the St. John's Ambulance logo. I think Eagle Moss released a Matt Smith TARDIS and it didn't have the logo on it, and people are like, huh, what? And yeah, it's a real bummer. I don't know why they've done that. It's really annoying. But character, fair play to them, have managed to get around this by adding the subtle hint of the St. John's Ambulance logo, because actually on this prop, it's so covered in paint and muck and dirt that you can barely see it anyway. So I love that. I love the fact that they've just given it a subtle hint to show, yes, it is still there, it's just painted over, just like the real thing. Fantastic. And then, of course, the other major difference is this brand new roof. It's the taller stacked roof, which is far more accurate to what we see on the 60s prop. This is just like a cover piece which like extends the roof from what we've seen before, and it works pretty well. You know, obviously there's a seam line there, but that's just par for the course in the way that this is constructed. So the roof looks great. Again, more of that dirty wash over the top. And then we have a brand new lamp on top as well. Again, because this is a B&M set, this isn't electronic, so there's no lights or sounds, but the new lamp looks great. You've got the bump on top and that lovely Fresnel lens. It looks amazing. I am so pleased with this new TARDIS. It is lovely. And then, of course, around the back and the sides, you've got the Police Public Call Box signs on the top. These are painted on with a bit of a dirty wash, so it makes it look a bit tattier, which again works really well for this prop. And the same for the windows. There's dirty wash so that it doesn't look so pristine and clean. It gives it that weathered, battered feel. And again, much like with the other B&M sets, we've got the shorter base as well. So just in terms of comparison, here is the original First Doctor's TARDIS that was released donkeys years ago as a Forbidden Planet exclusive. Again, similarly from An Unearthly Child. You can see that the differences are absolutely striking. I'm not going to lie, I absolutely love that original TARDIS. It's a beautiful TARDIS toy, but of course, it is by no means accurate to what we see in the programme. Not when you compare it to this new B&M version. It just surpasses it. Lovely toy, the original version. Can't take that away from it. It's a lovely police box. It's more akin to the Peter Cushing TARDIS, but this new version is far more accurate to what we see in season 1 of Doctor Who. The colour is a sort of a darker greyish blue, and of course you've got this dirty wash all over it, which just accentuates the lumps and bumps of the Artex that's on the sculpt. It just looks great. It's a really lovely TARDIS toy, and if you're a fan of that original 60s prop, like I am, you will be very happy with this, I'm sure. So, as ever, thank you very much for watching. This is a really great set. If you missed out on that original Hartnell set that came out from Forbidden Planet, definitely go out and buy this. It's not the same by any means. In fact, it's better, and if you're a fan, like I said, of the original 60s prop, then you will be very pleased with this, indeed. Just a lovely set. So, thank you all for watching. I hope you've enjoyed these last set of reviews, and I hope you all managed to track down these sets. Stay tuned for more reviews as and when the figures become available. But for now, goodbye and happy hunting. Thanks for watching.